Happy Tuesday. I am so glad that you're here. Sunday we celebrated Easter, and I'm almost 51 years old this year, so I've celebrated Easter for 51 years now. And I have to say, one of the things that I absolutely love about a relationship with God is how He can show you different things in different years and different seasons of your life. So you can read the same stories in the Bible, the same truths, and yet they'll speak differently to you depending upon where you are in your season of life. And for some reason this year, I really started to think about Saturday, the day between when Jesus died on Friday to when he rose again on Sunday. So between the time when he died and the disciples and those that loved him and followed him were so disappointed because their belief and their hope was that he was going to save them. He was going to save the world. And the world back then was pretty rough, like really rough. And especially for believers, especially for people who loved Jesus. And the higher ups, they did not like Jesus at all, which is one of the reasons why they had him crucified. But so I just cannot imagine, and this year especially, I've just really been thinking about their disappointment and the hopelessness they must have been feeling, and just being let down and feeling like, but Jesus promised, and this is what he said, and it didn't happen. But I know that he was who he said he was, but yet it's not adding up. So I was reading through the different Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I don't know if you're aware, but each of the books is written by a different person. So they each are written in a different tone, in a different way. So like, for instance, Luke is written by Luke. And he was a physician, so he writes very differently than John. John writes in a very relational style, and he's probably the one that I'm drawn to the most. Although I have to say, after having read all four of the Gospels close together last year, I really love Matthew and the way that he writes too. So they're all written differently. They all tell the same stories. The majority of them tell the same stories. There's a few that left out some things. But what I find so interesting is as I was going back before I wanted to share this with you, to look to see exactly how the disciples reacted, exactly how Mary and Martha and his close friends reacted on that Saturday. But you know, the Bible is really silent about their feelings and their emotions. It's kind of like the Bible gives so many descriptions up through his death, and then again on Resurrection Sunday. But it just basically takes a pause. It's the Sabbath, so they do nothing. That's their custom. And it just kind of takes a pause. It pauses between Friday and Sunday. So we're left to wonder what their feelings and their emotions were really like. The more I get to know God, and the more that I read his word, and the more that I study his life here on earth, the more I'm just filled with his love. The more that I see his love for his people, for everybody. And Easter is just such a wonderful way to show that, and a wonderful way for us to be reminded that he paid the ultimate sacrifice for us by dying on the cross. If that's something that you want to talk about more, if that's something that you really don't understand, if that's something that you've never really thought about, but you want to have a conversation with it, with somebody, you can email me, clswalwell99@gmail.com. Email me and we'll start a conversation. I would be really happy to talk to you about just about God in general, but about Easter, about the resurrection, about the whole reason why he came on earth to begin with. So today I really just wanted to reflect on the in-between so after he died, after the disappointment happened, before the resurrection, before his promise, before what he told them would happen, happened. We all kind of live in a Saturday every once in a while in our lives where we think that God is going to come through in this way. And either it takes longer than we think, or he shows up in a completely different way. And while we're waiting for him to show up, that's our Saturday. We're waiting in that Saturday. We're waiting in that limbo. And I just want to encourage you, Sunday is coming. God is for you. He's not against you. He loves you and he wants to bless you. If you're his child, it says all things work together for good to those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So sometimes we have to wait for our Sunday a little bit longer than 24 hours, but it is coming. So I just wanted to encourage you with that this morning. You can head over to my website, sherryswalwell.com, to learn more about the membership. We talked last week about all the different things that are offered and why I've done it. So if you head over there, you can read more about it. The links are below if you want to just see it that way as well. I have books that if you're interested, you can read. You can purchase. They're all on Amazon. If you have Kindle Unlimited, they're all in there as well. But like I shared last week, the most important book of all to read is the Bible. And I know it's kind of intimidating, and I know that sometimes people think that it's a really dry read or it's boring or I'm not going to like it. But you know what? Once you get started, once you start really just learning about Jesus's life here on earth and just seeing the love that God, our Father, and Jesus, the Son, and the Holy Spirit have for us, I pray that it will excite you as much as it excites me. Again, if you want to have a conversation, where do I start? Do I start at the beginning? Do I read right through? What do I do? I mean, you can do it any number of different ways. Like there's no one right way to do it. But if you want to have a conversation about that, email me for that as well. You can find me at clswalwell99@gmail.com. So I have a great, wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week, and I will be back next week. Bye-bye.